Well, thank you for taking the time again today to join us for another episode of DIS TV. Develop, integrate, and sustain. Keeping it simple. Well, let's jump into the topic today, as we don't have a lot of time to kind of talk about other things. We've got a busy drawing here. I want to try to talk a little bit about enterprise level storage and some of the main things that impact an enterprise level storage environment. Here we're representing here some of the main key topics here of this whole drawing. We have two data centers, one in New York, one in San Jose, and the need is to be able to replicate that data across the wide area network. So essential, obviously, is going to be WAN optimization type of technologies, deduplication type of technologies, and the role that it plays, as well as management of the data itself through policy, being able to leverage high-speed disk versus low-speed disk, and of course their associated costs. So let's go ahead and jump right into the San Jose data center here, do a little expansion here, and talk a little bit about what's going on here. Alright, so we know here that all the storage here for the servers resides. This illustrates a storage area network. This could be any type of storage, by the way. And when it does its backup, it's backupping to an enterprise deduplication device. Why does it do that? Well, the primary reason is we need to reduce the payload. If we did a direct backup from the data center here in San Jose all the way over to the data center in New York, we would gobble up our bandwidth like nobody's business. So what we want to do is to be able to capture the data here, move it over to a deduplication device that will employ for us technologies like redundant file and redundant block elimination. That's going to reduce the payload here at the deduplication device. That deduplication device will then transfer its data over the wire down to the deduplication device in New York. So now I've got my backup data from this data center in San Jose. I've got it residing here in New York, and the vice versa, right? So we take the data from here inside New York, its backup data from its storage environment, right? The same thing as we're doing in San Jose. We back up the storage here, reduce redundant blocks, reduce redundant files, and do some other optimization, reduce the payload. Then we ship that data off into San Jose. The great news here, if we have a catastrophe at either one of these sites, we've got all the data, so we can rebuild. So this is a backup solution. Please do not confuse this with a replication solution. This is not real data, this is backup data. It requires what they call rehydration in order to use this data again. So it's a great way to get your backup loads into different areas around a geographically dispersed environment and provide security from a data recovery standpoint. So let's go ahead and take a look at another key point that you have to think about when developing this type of environment is your WAN optimization device. Although we don't talk about WAN optimization in this episode, there are other DIS TV episodes that talk about WAN optimization. I would strongly suggest that you review those. But essentially what WAN optimization is going to do for us is going to say if I have repeated items here, I'm going to cache them. Or there's several things actually a WAN optimizer will do in the process, so that's an important piece. And then the last piece that we want to talk about here is the management of the actual data. So how are we managing this data? We had discussed in the introduction here that we were going to manage the data based on the data type. So imagine an environment, and this does not talk about high-speed performance data in this episode. View another episode of DIS TV for that. But essentially, let's create policy that says, all right, when data comes in and it has XYZ characteristics, we're going to move it to low-end storage, right? High volume, low performance storage. The difference is low volume, high performance storage, and there's costs associated with each one, cost per terabyte. So being able to implement through policy at our data centers how to move that data within our environment and have it on demand come up when a hotspot occurs in our environment, when there's a lot of load on a certain set of data, is absolutely remarkable. That is data backup and the life cycle, very basic. For more information, please see other episodes. Thank you and have a great day.